care, my fever has grown. Send a prayer and plan to bury bones. I'm feeling cold, I won't be here long. I won't be long. But anyway, I will suffice. Can't help me, can't help myself. Oh, unending days stuck in the ground. If you care, my heart beats slow. In my head, your flowers mold. I'm feeling cold. I won't be alone. I won't be alone. But anyway, I will suffice. Can't help me, can't help myself. Oh, unending days stuck in the ground. Can't help me, can't help myself. Oh, unending days stuck in the ground. But it's face is always unnatural, and it breaks out in a laughable case. It's all in the mouth, you know it breaks. Oh, yeah. Can't help me, can't help myself. Oh, unending days stuck in the ground. Can't help me, can't help myself. Oh, unending days stuck in the ground.
Why is everyone spiraling? Guys, just use pie. It's a free Chrome extension.
Broom Closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios. It's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live from Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com. And this beautiful Thursday, November 21st. Good morning, Emil.
Hey, how's it going, dude?
Good, dude. Good morning, Tucson. You always throw me off when I do the good morning to everybody. It's like, introducing everyone.
Yeah.
And your coffee house like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, you have a good day? And they're like, whoa. Just these are particulars. This is my way of introducing you to the audience.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Yeah. But we have a lot of fun in store because we have a lot of conversation. In fact, actually, I do have a pressing question I did want to ask you right off the bat.
What's that?
When you drive around town, do people flip you off regularly?
No, I flip people off regularly. I'm that guy.
You're that guy?
Yeah. It's fun.
Okay, so I think that's a proactive get ahead of the inevitable birds coming your way.
Yeah, it's all right. They deflect right off my Jeep, so it's cool.
All right. Has anyone ever accused you of being an aggressive driver?
My wife's looking at the radio right now. I know it.
Yeah.
No, actually, I try to be pretty chill because, like, I complain about drivers in Tucson all the time. Like, Tucson has some spectacularly bad drivers. I've driven all over the country, pretty much every state. Tucson takes, like, the cake for it.
Yes, and those are facts for sure. Everyone would agree on that. Anyone that's been in this town, for sure. You been in this town for a long time because you were born and raised in Bisbee, but you moved to Tucson when?
Oh, born in Nogales, actually. Lived in Bisbee for the rest of my life. I moved to Tucson in 2005.
Okay, so yeah, it's been about 20 years. Yeah, 20 years that you've been driving in Tucson. Do you feel like it could be possible? And I'm just throwing out maybe hypotheticals here. Yeah.
Okay.
No accusations or nothing.
Sure.
But is it possible that, seeing the erratic, crazy driving of Tucsonans on a daily basis, you inadvertently absorb some of those bad habits and then practice those on a regular basis?
Unfortunately, it's called evolution. You either you evolve to meld with the flow of horrible traffic, or you die.
Yeah.
Or you're that old dude on the road that's going really slow and people are getting really mad about, which is unfortunate because they're the safe ones actually doing the right thing. So it's unfortunate that you have to kind of like, I always think a bit about like when we go to like Rocky Point. It's been a while since I've been to Rocky Point, and you have to kind of get into this chaotic mode of driving sometimes, especially going out to like there's like this dirt road and there's the nice hotels. Yeah. And you have to kind of like get into this mode of like Mad Max mode, especially. Yeah. And that's what it's gotten to in Tucson, unfortunately. And you just have to get into this like psycho mode. You have to like psych yourself out before you get in the car and you're like, I'm going to get out in the road.
Okay, well, I'm not beating around the bush anymore. I think you're a terrible driver. The past couple times that we've been coming into the studio around the same time, I've been looking in the mirror being like, who's this guy on my ass, man? And it gets me super aggro, and like I get mad at the person behind me, and then I park, and I get out, and I'm like, oh, it was you?
Yeah, it's just me. Well, here it is. I cruise in, it's like super chill. I'm enjoying my morning, but I see it's a Kia in front of me.
Oh, come on.
I'm like, oh, it's beef right there.
Is it me bashing or Kia bashing or both?
Oh, it's just you, dude. I have nothing against Kias, but I'm just having fun with you. I'm getting you all riled up for the show. Get that blood pumping so you're like ready to get on air, and it's nothing but love. I'm just having fun with you. I do this to like everybody that I know on the road that like my neighbors, I'll see them around my neighborhood cruising. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get on her butt real fast.
See, that's the worst.
And it's so funny. I get a kick out of it.
Okay.
I know everybody else
Well,
does.
look, okay, so what you're saying is, and this is your defense, that it's a game. You recognize somebody, then you go full Tucson driver on them.
Yeah.
But I would love in a, near future, hopefully, before the holidays, to talk to your wife and see if it is just a game that you play randomly, or is this just the way that you drive regularly? I don't know. I like you as a person. I hate you as a driver. I'm trying to figure out, where's the balance? Is this a fun game? And if so, all right, that's our show up, and we're getting ready to get live on the air. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. We're live on the podcast broadcast in studio. We got very special guests. He is host of the Tucson Tasty show. As his name is Wesley, or as I know him, Winston. And we got Justice joining us as well. Justice is, and I keep saying Justin, but you're with Floor and Decor, and you're a title sponsor of the Tucson Tasty food truck food fights series that Wesley is producing and put together. And our Lotus is a title sponsor in this. How'd this come about?
Yeah, no, we connected over. I mean, the Tucson Tasty show is everything culinary in Tucson. So we're trying to we've partnered with Saka. We partnered with Lotus because you guys do the Iron Chef Tucson and Tucson Foodie. Everybody that we've partnered with is
you got the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl on board with this. How'd you get them on board?
They actually approached me to do a competition to engage the community. And, we've got all the other competitions. We got Tucson Knife Fight. We got Iron Chef. And I was like, well, we don't have anything going for food trucks.
I know. The food truck battle is always, it's such a great idea. It's always a good idea, too, because we got so many great food trucks here in the city. In fact, actually, Shane from Tucson Foodie talked about, I think, some mind-blowing stats as far as we're one of the biggest in the nation as far as food trucks are concerned. Yeah, and so to get these food trucks together, I'm sure it's a difficult feat, but easy at the same time because there's so many. So how many food trucks in total were fighting it out during this run? I know we have another round happening this Friday up at Whiskey Roads on Ina, but how many total? Do you just guesstimate?
We've got 11 competing. Total.
Okay, just 11 competing total. And then there's going to be like 10 this Friday.
Yep.
Right? Who was the 11th one, the odd man out of this scenario for Friday?
We had Munchies. Wasn't able to make it last week, but this week we're hoping to have him back. He was the top dog on the first stop over at Horror Bottle.
Okay, so did you eat anything from Munchie's food truck? What was the signature item that you liked?
The quesadilla tacos.
Okay.
Are killer.
I love those. I mean, obviously love quesadilla. We could talk fat guy stuff all day long, right? So like cheese, meat, and all day. Quesadilla in Tucson is amazing. Everyone claims to have the best quesadilla. I would even say like the cheesy taco from Rolly's is one of my favorites. And he does a food truck. Does Rolly's food truck? Are they in there?
They're not competing.
I know Sexy Grilled Cheese, which is Dante Fire, and former Iron Chef winner, 2-time winner, Chef Ken Foy. Yep. I was getting there. He owns the Sexy Grilled Cheese Company truck.
Yep.
And that's amazing comfort food as well. Who else is going to be participating this Friday?
Well, we got the second stop. We had La Bufadora pull down the top dog title, and that was at Diamondback Shooting Sports last week. This week we'll have another one, and then by popular vote, we'll have the fourth one. So December 6th at Harbottle, we're going back to Harbottle Brewing Company,
right,
at Ajo and Palo Verde there. But
what's the benefit and connection to the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl? Because obviously it's a big deal that Snoop Dogg is, doing the Arizona Bowl, gin and juice. Is there a connection between the gin and juice product and how you're doing the competition?
So it's the Snoop Dogg's Arizona Bowl. And the whole point is to get the community out and engaged at the tailgate. And we want to get Tucson out to the tailgate because it's free to attend, but also the Arizona Bowl is a nonprofit. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know that it's a nonprofit and that the tailgate's free to attend.
Trust me, you can't make money promoting football in this town, that's for sure. But it is a charity. And so are they going to have food trucks at the tailgate?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And
how massive
is it? The finale is going to be at the tailgate as well, and then the winner is going to be announced on the field during the game.
Wow.
See, that's a big stipulation.
Yes.
Yeah. And so what other additional prizes will go to the food truck? Who wins? Is there additional prizes or just a recognition?
Well, we get the big trophy, and then we're actually going to give them a marketing package with the Tucson Tasty Show, and we're over at iHeartRadio and Canis.
Yeah, we won't mention iHeart too much, you know what I mean? But that's okay. They're not the title sponsor, but you do have a show on there, and that's good. I mean, I've been following you for a minute. I was following you since you were at 300 followers, and then you just blew up overnight. You're like at 31,000 followers immediately. Like, how do you get so many followers so fast? You got any tips or tricks that you can share with our audience?
Well, we have over 700 posts in the last year, so it's consistency and posting a lot. And so when we're front of mind and everybody keeps tagging us out, and I think that's really been the biggest.
That's crazy. Well, food content, of course, is always engaging, right?
Oh, yeah.
Food and booty. And if you post both, now I looked through your posts. I didn't see any booty posts, unfortunately.
My wife won't let me. She's also the producer, so she has a lot of control over that.
Right. Now, Floor and Decor is a title sponsor.
Yes.
Now, it's interesting that you guys are a sponsor, and it's not necessarily food, but of course, food is universal. What is Floor and Decor up to that you want to let the audience know about why people should stop by Floor and Decor?
So we actually have one store in Tucson. We have 250 plus nationwide, but one in Tucson. So as a local Tucsonian, for us to get back in the community, food, football, and Snoop Dogg, it's a great opportunity.
It's
a great opportunity. So at the end of the day, we just want to say thank you for even having us first and foremost. But
of course,
Floor and Decor, large specialty retailer with anything hard surface. Here to help with all the needs, contractors, DIYs, you name it, we do it. So
nice.
That's awesome. Yeah. And thank you for being a part of this because this is community. All these food trucks, locally owned businesses. Yep. A lot of these businesses, either if they have a brick and mortar, they want a brick and mortar. So building up their name, their brand, and feeding the community is always fun, and competition is always fun as well. So this happening this Friday at Whiskey Roads. Tucson Tasty presents the food truck food fights for Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, and it's the road to the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl is happening on December 28th, and that's, of course, going to be at the stadium. Snoop Dogg's going to be there hosting it.
Yes.
He's not going to perform halftime, but I do hear there's going to be a pretty cool halftime performance as well.
Oh.
There's a lot of buzz for this year, and it's not just a Snoop Dogg secondhand buzz, right? Now, where besides your, huge Instagram page there for people to follow there, Wesley, what other places will we send people to find out information about the upcoming events? Because this is week 3, you say?
Yes.
Okay, so week 3 is Whiskey Roads. It kicks off at like 7 o'clock.
6.
6, okay.
Yep.
I was close. I was guesstimating, right? So 6 o'clock kicking off the food truck. That means come hungry.
Yes.
And, do they have any sample sizes, though, or are they just selling full-blown entrees? Because the one thing I want to see with these competitions is when you go out there, and I'm speaking from a fat kid expectation, right? I want Costco Sunday type of experience. I want to know who's the best food truck, but I don't want 10 sandwiches to try to prove it because it's impossible to do. Especially if you eat one sexy grilled cheese sandwich, you're done for the night, dude.
Yeah.
Right? So are they going to be selling kind of like smaller servings, sample servings for people to be able to test, or how do you decide who the best food truck is?
So we have a judge panel, and it's actually going to be mystery ingredient that they have to incorporate into one of their dishes that they already have on the truck. And then with the public, the public comes out and they can vote, and they can buy tickets to vote for their favorite food truck. And one of the things we found out about the public is, regardless of sample size or having samples available, they go to their favorite food truck, and that's what they're buying.
Yeah, that's based on what they're feeling and everything else.
But that's a really good idea.
I keep coming up with ideas. My company doesn't hear it, but that's fine. I'm glad that they're at least getting involved in some kind of food event. Now, Justice, with all have you seen the food trucks from the previous weeks?
I've not. No.
Oh, this is your first week coming out. Okay, which are you most excited to try? Besides the birria, okay? How many birria trucks you have? Read them off real quick here, Wesley.
I only have the one because we wanted to limit it, or the birria truck. But we do have La Bufadora, which is fish tacos, sexy grilled cheese, why not breakfast, Willie's Phillies, family joint pizza with lumbre pizza, and they just moved into Cartel Coffee, and then Special Eats, which is grilled cheese and burgers and any of that food. And
so there's kind of like 2 grilled cheese trucks for sure,
right? And then Yuki's, which is modern Ukrainian food, Colonel Mustard hot dogs.
Yeah, have you had modern Ukrainian food? Have you had
Yes.
Yuki's before? So give me an example. What's a dish of that? Because I don't.
Cabbage rolls was her go-to. I was like, what one thing does everybody need to try? And she's like, my cabbage rolls. And I was like, okay.
Then it's like stuff that my grandmother would cook. Okay, continue.
And then Munchies, caffeine dealer, Oh Wow mini donuts, and then Arizona Sunset treats.
All right. And does the general public vote, or what did you say?
So the general public
judges
can vote. We do have a panel of judges, and they're some of the top chefs in Tucson coming out to do the judging.
Okay,
and
that's good. See, because this is going to be the challenge. For me personally, I'm looking at it being like, they're also distinctively different, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if you make a great grilled cheese, right, and you make a great birria, and those are 2 different things, but they're both equally great. How are you going to award one over the other? So, I guess you would look at, if I was going to be an amateur judge in this situation, the presentation of, and the consistency of what they're pushing out the window.
And then creativity.
Branding, creativity, things like that. But again, it's literally comparing apples to oranges in a way, right? Which one do you like better beyond everything else?
So
right?
we actually instruct the judges.
Okay, what's the instructions?
The instructions are, each dish is individual. You're not comparing the hot dog to the Philly cheesesteak.
Right.
You're not comparing the coffee to anything else, or the
right,
pizza.
because you can't compare coffee to a cabbage roll.
Right. So they have to score each truck individually on the score sheet, and then we add up all the scores, and that's who we pick, or how we rank them.
Yeah.
What was the mystery ingredient last week?
Last week, we had to go with one of Snoop Dogg's favorite snacks.
Oh, yeah?
Pistachios.
Ooh, I love pistachios.
Well, you could do a lot of good stuff with pistachios.
Oh, yeah.
Is weed ever going to be a mystery item?
No.
Yeah, no.
Well, we'd have to. I don't know.
We can't. I know. And it's affiliated with college athletics as well, but it's still Snoop Dogg. So
Right.
you got to throw out the weed joke every now and then, either way, it seems like pretty fun. Whiskey Roads, are they doing anything special right after the event?
So during the event, there's actually going to be some line dancing classes, but we are going to have Zenora out there. Zenora is
fantastic
huge
band. Yeah, they were just performing at our Low Dose show the other night. They're one of the best bands in Tucson. Absolutely. Shout out Zenora. So they're performing at Whiskey Roads?
Yep.
Nice.
And they're also going to be performing at Harbottle on December 6th as well. And Zenora is a great band, great guys. They're just a great group. But then Whiskey Roads, they're shutting down their kitchen, obviously, because we're gonna have a ton of food trucks out there. So
yeah, that's
gonna
pretty ballsy of the to get them to be like, yeah, well, we won't make money off food. Go ahead and come people here. The bar is open.
The bar is open.
Fair enough. And, and honestly, you could eat heavy and then burn it off line dancing.
There you go.
Yeah, I know. We'll see. Looking at all angles there. So, more information for the food truck food fights from Tucson Tasty. You can get it at
thetastyshow.com.
All right, and make sure you check out Floor and Decor. So, Justin, send them to where would you send them at?
Broadway and Kolb's, our Tucson location.
Okay.
Northwest corner. So.
You got any sales for the holidays?
We have a clearance event, but we have the lowest price already, so we won't be.
Yeah, dude. It's like we could do clearance events, but we're already rock bottom prices. So, I mean, you want the best value, cheapest price. Floor and Decor is the store for you. See how it rhymes?
Happy to help.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming in and check them out. So, good luck, Wesley, and thanks for coming in to the podcast broadcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. We're going to hit the reset. Be back with Herb Stratford.
Yeah, thanks, Justice. Thanks, Wesley.
Yeah, dude.
This is so cool.
Yeah. So, and clear. And we're off the FM side. So that was good. Yeah, we covered it all for the most part. Anything that we missed on there?
I don't think so. I mean, Arizona Bowl will be out there, and you can win 4 tickets to the game.
Yeah, we'll see. That's
another.
I'll mention that
one.
on the tail end. Yeah, there's even Zenora said what's up. So
yeah, sweet.
Yeah, and he's excited to be there. So that's good. All right, cool. All right, well, I appreciate you guys coming in. Got Herb Stratford right here, and so I'll wrap with you soon. So Justice, nice meeting you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you so much,
Yeah, for the rest of you guys, earlier this morning we did our morning Moron. In case you missed
Are you searching for a lasting weight loss solution?
That's a commercial. In case you missed it, one little something like this. Kicking things off with a little 9 Inch Nails. It's Closer on Rock 102.1 KFMA. You know the name of the show. Let's go. Get off my ass, Emil.
Sorry.
1 KFMA. It's now 6:15 and time for your morning Moron. Let's do it. All right, so here's the deal. Americans need to stop visiting other countries and making us all look bad to these other countries. And this is another example of Americans doing American things in a foreign country, making us all look like a-holes. And this morning Moron today is a man named Stephen Lee Hayes.
All right.
He's an American man who was arrested in Japan after allegedly using his fingernails to carve his family's names into a sacred wooden pillar at the Meiji Shrine Torii Gate in Tokyo.
Tokyo, yeah. Oh, dude, really?
Yeah. So you know about this shrine?
Yeah. It's a pretty popular one for tourists, and can't believe that this guy just. I mean, I guess I can believe it.
Well, this is such an American thing to do, unfortunately, and again, a terrible representation or an accurate representation of an entire nation to another. So he goes to this historic landmine, this sacred wooden pillar. It says it's sacred. Everything about this pillar and this display is talking about the historic relevancy and the importance to the culture and the community and the country and the history of. And he's like, what'll be cool, man? If I put my little daughter name, Haley Jade, in there, I'll put my son's name, Steve Ray. I put my name in there, put my old lady's, well, not my first old lady, but my second old lady, because she's hotter than my first old lady. Go F yourself, dude.
Yeah,
it's
seriously.
ridiculous. So it happened on November 12th. Shortly after arriving into the country with his family. He later, surveillance footage actually caught him doing this, right? And he later admitted the act after they showed the footage, which authorities deemed as an act of mischief. And he now faces up to 3 years in prison or a fine of 300,000 yen, which actually sounds like a lot.
It's not.
Nah, it's
like $3.
It's $1,900.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you got the option, Steven, I don't know if you're smart enough to realize, just pay the yen, pay the $2,000.
They're just gonna repaint it.
What an odd way. I mean, now I got to put Japan on blast as far as their corporal punishment department.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you're either going to get 3 years hard time or pay $2,000. What you want, son? I'll pay the $2,000, please.
What's their jails like?
I bet they're pretty nice, but actually pretty cramped too because their hotel rooms are pretty small
Pretty
as well.
small, yeah. They are tiny.
Yeah. Anyways, signs warning against damaging this gate have since been erected, as similar incidents of shrine vandalism have risen in Japan. So Fortunately and unfortunately. Fortunately for Steven, unfortunately for Japan, there's a rise in stupidity where people are coming by this shrine, seeing the historic, significance of it, and wanting to mark their territory. Back in the day, you could just pee on it and say it's yours. But now, the people want to carve in, their names. They want to put a little heart, little initials.
I hate that so much. Don't do that. Don't even do it on trees.
I know.
It's the dumbest thing. It's like such a low IQ thing. I hate it so much.
Exactly. So for that, reason and more, Stephen Lee Hayes has to be today's Morning Moron.
Making me say it.
Yeah, I wanted to call him out for that. So, and I was super nice. People commenting on the stream. First off, welcome Herb Stratford.
Thank you. Hi, what movies are going on?
No.
No.
How nice was I with our guests? Even though a lot of you ran off during that conversation. Did you run off the conversation because it seemed, I'll watch it back. Did it seem aggressive in my interview? Yeah, was it okay? Was it informative? I thought it was. But Mari,
You're sweet Tucson locales.
concerned.
I love my Tucson.
And Patrick, you're messaging me. Who's so-and-so on the stream? I don't know who's on the stream, dude. People are on the stream. So, this is on the internet. So random people jump on all the time. Appreciate you watching. And
I love your jacket, Herb.
Oh, well, thank you. It's very.
There you go. See, the interview was great. See, now Jeff says the interview was great. Mari thought I was being hostile. No, don't be real, Mari. I'll be honest with you. I have an issue with Wesley misrepresenting a little things. He's doing the food truck thing. Seems like a good thing. I was asking questions to get to the bottom of it to see how legit his operation was, and gave him an opportunity to be honest. And he seemed honest in some scenarios, and then there was one particular thing that he was completely dishonest about. Was he not?
I'm not talking about this.
Okay.
And scene.
Just saying. All right. Oh, well, let's see. See, Beef isn't aggressive. He just talks fast, and sometimes he needs to let his guests speak. I do let my guests speak sometimes. Sometimes I speak for them. Be like, hey, you know what? If it's going to be full of shit, let me help you. That's actually my specialty. Oh. Yes. Herb, how have you been, dude?
I am good.
Yes.
Actually, we had our screening on Saturday night of our documentary at the Tucson Museum of Art.
How was the turnout?
It was good. We sold out, which was nice. And I know it was your birthday.
Yes.
So I hope you were out getting blotto.
Yes, I was totally getting blotto. What is blotto?
Just wasted.
Oh, okay. Well, that was Friday night, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Saturday night was not as eventful, but still, it was a good birthday overall.
All right.
Yeah. But I'm glad that you sold out, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And this is the first public screening that you had to your documentary.
First public in person in Tucson, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Were you nervous?
No, when you do a screening of a documentary at a museum, you sort of figure those people have self-selected.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they want to be there and they're not going to throw stuff at you. So
yeah.
Yeah. And we had most of our crew there. We had our editor came down from Phoenix and
friends and family. So it was more of, it wasn't going to be a potential hostile audience,
exactly,
right? Yeah,
exactly.
Well, but it's still at the same time being like a director and having this project and having your baby being screened in front of people. Is it difficult not to kind of look around the room? Because you've obviously seen it a million times, so it's not like you're glued to the screen.
You do listen. You see if jokes land. You see what people respond to. So you watch that. But yeah, you're right. It plays in my head all the time. So
see, it's a good thing I didn't go to the screening because I would have just watched you the entire time. So as soon as a joke is on the screen, I just want to see Herb go like,
Did you get it? Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Did it go over your head? Is it too smart for you? It's okay. The next one, I dumbed it down.
Yeah. No, you could have come, but it's on Apple iTunes and Amazon Prime. You can find it. So it's streaming. You can find it.
What's it called?
It's called Gustav Stickley, American Craftsman. So
yeah, here's what we're gonna do. We'll talk about Wicked here on the FM side, and then we'll record Gladiator 2.
Okay.
Right after that, and then our segment after that will be all about the Paramount Plus and Apple TV series. So
and the challenge.
Oh, and the challenge, yeah. Well, honestly, even though I was listening to the podcast today, and I started watching the episode this morning, so I got right up to almost the elimination with Corey and Josh, but I know what's going on, right? So, yeah, we'll geek about that. Might as well.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know Nelly T lost a leg. That was sort of a shock to me.
I did know, but see, the thing is, it's a shock to you because it's not in the forefront of challenge like information because he was drunk. It was a DUI. Oh, yes, he was drunk in Austin and he got into a car accident, his fault, and he lost his leg because of it and potentially ruined his career.
Wow.
Yeah. Rock on 2.1 KFMA. I know that's the reaction that most people have, Herb Stratford, when they hear that kind of information.
Yeah, I just when that happened on the show last night, we're talking about the challenge, and when Nelson sort of debuted the missing half his leg, I did not know that had happened. But of course, I knew. I looked at my wife and I said, "I bet Beef knows this because he's
Yeah, and unfortunately, it happened a couple years ago. He was one of the stars because he's so dumb and funny, and he is just so dumb, but it's so funny, and it seems like kind-hearted. But yes, a couple years ago, he was driving in Austin. He was drunk driving, speeding, got into a single car accident. Luckily, no other cars were involved, but then had his lower half of his leg amputated. Now, of course, the challenge is an athletic competition series, so definitely has affected his potential of returning. But him being on the show last night, it almost seemed like a lot of fans optimistic, and the internet, it goes both ways, right? It's a polarizing feeling about Nelson. They're either optimistic that he may return and then have this like a storyline of like, look at me competing with one leg. Like, I'm like Jordan 2.0.
I was going to say, Jordan's got half a hand, and Jordan beats everybody.
But he was born with it. But then
true.
there's other part of the internet that say he doesn't deserve the opportunity because he was grossly irresponsible, driving drunk, and this is the consequences now he has to live with, meaning that he has to be an amputee and lose his career over it. Now, I'm not at that extreme.
No.
I would love to see a redemption and so him to learn from this, but that's the challenge. And one of the reasons why we watch the challenge, Mari, why aren't you with us on this yet?
Yeah, come on, Mari.
I think I have some better things to do.
Oh, yeah, like what? Like breastfeed? There's no way. All right.
Like anything?
Okay, too cool for school. Let's talk about Wicked. This is something that Mari might be into, right?
I've seen it twice.
How did you see it twice already?
No, the musical, the actual Broadway stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, they took the success of Broadway. This is what Hollywood does. They take the success of Broadway and they're like, how can we ruin it? But did they ruin it? Herb Stratford.
So, here's how they ruined it, just frankly, by putting it into two parts and making it a cash grab. That is what they did. They couldn't just say, you know what, we're going to they had to Harry Potter it, right?
Yeah, 3 hours.
I don't understand why. Well, I do. It's cash. But so this, I think this is, a lot of people are making the parallel between last summer when we had, a summer and a half ago, when we had Barbenheimer, right? You had Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Right.
So this is they're calling it Glicked or something. So it's Gladiator and Wicked.
Oh.
That's the thing. So you're going to have split ticket at the box office, right? Dad and the son are going to go to Gladiator and the mom and the girls are going to go to Wicked, right?
Yeah.
So,
But then the dad and the son are going to be sitting out there in the lobby for an extra hour waiting for Wicked to wrap up, and they're not even done with the movie.
That's true.
That's 3 hours. I mean, I had my friends, Ryan and Kim from the Tucson Roadrunners come in earlier this week, and they talked about it, and they're just like, yeah, it was great. So damn long, and then not over, And so there was a feeling of frustration when they left the theater, being like, I put in such a time investment, and come on, man.
I want to be done. Yeah. So, I mean, and the other things about this, obviously, it's like, really good casting and the fact that they're actually singing. I mean, there's all that stuff. And it's just, obviously, it's a cash machine because so many people have seen Wicked. It's just like, I mean, let me backstep. It's not just like Cats, because Cats was a miserable failure as a movie. But
terrible.
But I mean, this is like they have an audience, so it's sort of a no-brainer that they would do this. But I think it's very interesting that the marketing team, it used to be called Wicked Part 1. Now it's just called Wicked.
Right.
So we're trying to trick everybody.
It's so tricky.
You're seeing the whole movie when you're not.
Well, what about the sequel? Is it going to be called Still Wicked? Or is it going to be called Wickeder?
That's a good question.
Or Wicked what?
Wicked.
This thing is still going? 10 hours of Wicked, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it could have been a series on HBO Max, so maybe we're lucky.
Yes, right.
And honestly, then are you suggesting people, if they don't go out to the theater, to wait till it is released, and you can watch it like a series? Because it will be like basically a 6-episode series.
Well, here's the thing. How quick is it going to hit streaming?
Yeah, no, it looks like
That's
it's going to
the
be pretty
question.
successful. It looks beautiful. Looking at the trailer right now, of course, it's Wizard of Oz, and I mean, it's a musical, so Jeff Goldblum's in it, and the graphics look pretty good. Did they nail it in the graphics? Because I thought I saw something.
Yeah. No,
where
visually it's a stunner, and I mean they spent a lot of money, right? You know what I mean? And it's like that's the thing. Like all the money's on the screen, you can see it, right? And for people who don't know, Wicked is sort of the prequel to Wizard of Oz, and it's about how the two sisters, the Good Witch and the Bad Witch, were friendly before, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the whole thing. And I mean, this has had what, Mari, like a 20+ year run on Broadway. I mean, maybe even longer. I mean, it's a phenomenon, and I think it's gonna crush. It's gonna have a $100 million weekend, and it's gonna be the biggest film in a long time since Deadpool and Wolverine, really.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, but you're probably not wrong. It is the machine is behind it, and Wicked is out in theaters everywhere this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's already out right now.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, all right, let's hit the reset. We're going to keep the conversation moving with Podcast Broadcast. There I have streamers asking her questions, like asking about Friday Night Lights and things like that. Okay. So we're going to do a little Q&A with Herb Stratford, come back with what's coming to our streaming services this weekend right after music from Foo Fighters. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Don't go away. But before we do that, Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. Joining us in studio, very special guest. He is film critic extraordinaire. I mixed up my words there. Mr. Herb Stratford. Good morning, Herb.
Good morning.
All right, now let's talk about a mantastic film for our mantastic audience here. A lot of people obviously fantasize about being a gladiator in Roman times. Now we could see those times play out on the screen for this much anticipated sequel to Gladiator. Gladiator 2 finally drops this weekend, correct?
Yes, and what's so interesting about this is, obviously when the first film came out, Russell Crowe, it was a big deal, was nominated for a lot of Academy Awards, won a lot of stuff, was a huge box office hit, helped Ridley Scott sort of relaunch into sort of respectability because he had a couple duds before that. But the original concept for Gladiator 2 was going to be Maximus, Russell Crowe, up with the gods, Zeus and everybody else, and they wanted him to go back down to Earth and stop Jesus.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? Okay.
That's lofty.
And they actually had scripts that were written, and there was like talk about this, and finally calmer minds prevailed and said, you know what, that might not be a good idea for us to do. So they came up with this, which of course is in a way sort of just a rehash of the first movie, and instead of Maximus, it's Lucius, who was the young boy in the first movie. He is now grown up. He is now a gladiator. He is now fighting the evil emperor, who actually are two twins that are sort of sharing the throne. So it's more of what we love from Gladiator. Lots of CGI, lots of battle stuff. Oliver Reed is dead, so now the slave owner guy is played by Denzel Washington, who steals every scene he's in. So I'm here for the Colosseum stuff. I'm here for the flood the Colosseum. I'm here for the crazy monkeys fighting. I mean, I'm here for it. So this is a big screen thing too, right? Like, do not wait for this one. You can wait for Wicked, but go see this on the screen if you're going to go, right? I mean, you want to see it the biggest screen possible, and sort of. But there are some people who are like, yeah, it's just the same movie over again. That's okay. I'll watch the same movie over again.
Well, I mean, it's been 20 years, and it's better than a reboot, not the exact same thing. So you compare it, it's kind of continuation of the story. And yes, most of the consensus, everything that I've seen about Gladiator 2 is that whenever Denzel's on the screen, Denzel is that scene. Yeah. He's that good. Now, Denzel's saying that he's going to retire soon. Should he hang his hat on this film, or
No, I think he's going to do a couple more. I think this had to be a lot of fun as an actor to step into this world. I mean, granted, a lot of CGI, but still, at the same time, to be in this kind of a thing. everybody wants to be in a sword and sandals pick, and this is, pretty high profile. It's really interesting. It's only 74% on Rotten Tomatoes, where Wicked is 91.
I know. I heard that.
So,
That's
but that's all the fanboys, right, and fangirls. That's not a true representation. That's just the people that went and are most vocal.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gladiator 2 out this weekend. Now, do you think Denzel Washington will be nominated for awards for this one?
I think it's possible, but it's a little bit early because there's a lot of stuff we haven't seen yet. You know? And I mean, supporting is always a tough category, So I think they'll probably push Paul Mescal for the awards, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, it's a Glicked weekend, so if you want to go out and entertain yourself at the movie theaters, then you and the whole family can go, and all the bros can go see Gladiator 2, while your lady friends go see Wicked. Or you could switch roles because, honestly, I mean, gender stereotypes, that's a thing of the past.
That's right.
Honestly.
That's right.
Yeah. It's the Herb Stratford, everybody. Thank you for coming in, Herb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a wrestler. I love it.
So I got to tell you, when I talk about split ticket at the box office, so one of my favorite memories of going to the movies with my parents, which I didn't do all that often, but my dad walks up to the box office and he goes, 2 jerks and 1 yank. Because he and I were going to see The Jerk, Steve Martin, and my mom was going to Yanks. But I just loved it. I just had that stuck in my head. The girl at the box office is just like, wait, what?
Yeah. It's not that kind of movie theater, sir.
Yeah.
Right?
2 jerks and 1 yank. Yeah.
Back then, they definitely had those kind of movie theaters as well. Be like, that's on the street in Times Square, sir.
That's right.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Well, we get ready. If you got questions for Herb, and I know you do, I'm going to get those accumulated. But while we wait for that, earlier this morning, we did this. And if you missed it, check it out. I totally forgot what we did. Vegan Presents. Justin Spears learned something new today. The phrase horse gay. You didn't know that was a thing, but that's a thing.
And the McRib is back, guys.
Yeah. And they both taste the same. It's crazy.
That's so funny.
We still don't know what the hell's in the McRib, so it could be horsey. Who knows? This segment not brought to you by McDonald's. I apologize, McDonald's. My bad. All right, so we got Justin Spears in studio, obviously, because we've been doing this season-long promotion for the NFL season. Are you smarter than Justin Spears? There, you can go to KFMA.com, sign up, pick against Justin Spears. If you beat him, you're eligible to win prizes weekly from Chico's Smoke Shop and the Diamond Store. And, how'd you do last week in your picks?
Not bad.
Okay.
Not bad.
So as we get past the halfway point of the season, you're starting to see that the picks are getting easier to make. You're starting to see which teams are starting to rise and some teams starting to fall apart, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, who's been the biggest surprise so far this season after we get past the halfway point?
Man, honestly, I'm actually kind of surprised the Chiefs went as long as they did as an undefeated team.
Right. Yeah.
I figured maybe they would have been handed a loss earlier in the season. But beyond the Chiefs, I honestly think probably the Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the bigger surprises because, last year they were riding the struggle bus a little bit. Their quarterback room did not look the way it looks right now.
Right.
And they acquired Russell Wilson from the Denver Broncos.
Which is crazy that he even has like a third act.
Yeah.
That's what this is, a third act. And, a lot of people wrote off Russell Wilson, present company included. I was like, this guy's done, and was kind of like a one-trick pony in Seattle. But yeah. I was wrong.
But, he goes into a situation in Pittsburgh, and he doesn't have all the luxuries that he had in Denver. He doesn't have the private coach that's hanging around the facility all the time. He's not making cringe TikToks like Russell Wilson is all locked in on what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing. And, they first started off with Justin Fields, who's a young up-and-coming quarterback, can still be the face of the franchise down the road. But Russell Wilson, I think, has been a really good leader for this team. And the defense, too. I mean, they're putting up historic numbers.
Yeah.
Even if Russell Wilson isn't having the best game, good luck trying to score against that Pittsburgh defense. So
legendarily, always the steel curtain.
I think the Steelers are legitimately a Super Bowl contender.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, I know that's good news to some people out there. I know plenty of Steelers fans. It's been an exciting season for them. Yeah. Ali, too. Yeah. Very passionate. That's the thing about Steelers fans. They're all in on them and super passionate about the team. So it's always good to see the Steelers, win. But of course, I like my Cardinals and the way the Cardinals have been progressing. Number one in the NFC West. That's always good. And I know that you think once 49ers get healthy, that it's game over for the Cardinals. But I don't even know if that's the case. They continue to build momentum and confidence within their system. Then I think they're going to be pretty unstoppable in the NFC West. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, you're definitely on the right path. I like what the Arizona Cardinals are doing. I think Kyler Murray's an awesome quarterback. And I don't know if you've seen the video of him eating food next to a guy in New York.
Yes. Surly. It was a name or something. Surrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, some Frenchman.
He had no idea who Kyler Murray was, but I thought that was a really wholesome and genuine moment. But, this week, they're playing against the Seattle Seahawks on the road. Tough place to play. They could pull this off. Hey, you look at the San Francisco 49ers, they're playing on the road against Green Bay, which just had a really big win last week. We could start to see the Cardinals, start to get a little bit of a cushion there at the top.
Yeah, separate themselves from the pack. I would say that the Cardinals have an easier challenge ahead of them than the 49ers do because trying to beat Green Bay is hit or miss, but, at home, Lambeau Field, they're still a pretty good, solid team. Yeah. So what are your 3 picks that you're going to do this week? And again, we encourage our listeners to pick against Spears to make all that money in a 3-game parlay. So game 1 is what?
Game 1, we got tonight. Thursday.
Yeah.
We got the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Cleveland Browns for Thursday night football. Pittsburgh Steelers all day long. They're rolling right now. But Cleveland Browns, they have Jameis Winston as their quarterback, and you never know what to expect out of Jameis.
Yeah, it's good days, bad days.
Especially on a Thursday game. So, I don't know. I feel like this is a trap game if I've ever seen one. I think the Browns maybe could pull off the upset. And there's kind of this defensive player of the year clash right now between Myles Garrett and TJ Watt for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I'm going to go with the Steelers.
Okay, so, those of you out there keeping score, go for the Cleveland Browns. Almost said the Indians.
Oh man.
I know.
Almost said the old baseball team.
I know. All right, and game 2.
All right, game 2. I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys against the Washington Seawords.
Okay, Cowboys versus the Seawords. And you can't pick the Cowboys at this point in the season. Everything about the Cowboys this season has been unraveled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're on the road. Here's the thing, though. They suck at home. As a matter of fact, I think the New Orleans Saints have just as many touchdowns at Jerry's World as the Dallas Cowboys this year. The entire season, because they put up like 41 points, and the Cowboys have stunk at home this year. But they're on the road. However, Washington, the Commanders, they're playing really good football right now with Jaden Daniels. In my opinion, he's going to be the offensive rookie of the year. So I'm going to go with Commanders at home.
Yeah, it's going to be almost impossible to pick against Spears on that one because, no smart money is betting on the Cowboys this season at all. All right, and third and final pick.
All right, third and final pick. Let's go with the Baltimore Ravens against my Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah.
Bolt up, baby.
Yeah.
The Bolts are 7-3 right now.
I know, that's surprising, man.
Jim Harbaugh has these guys well coached. They play really good defense. Justin Herbert's starting to cook right now. But the Baltimore Ravens coming off a loss, a tough one to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lamar Jackson is not playing against the Steelers. He's not playing against the Chiefs. Those two teams are his kryptonite.
Yeah.
He's going up against the Chargers. The Chargers, I think, are playing hot football right now. However, I got to be as objective as I can because I got to get right with these picks. So I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens to beat the LA Chargers on Monday Night Football.
That's because you jinx with your picks, so you're trying to give your team the advantage. I see you, Justin Spears.
No idea what you're talking about.
Is this the Harbaugh Bowl? Harbaugh Bowl?
It is.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, the two
Harbaugh
coaches,
Bowl.
the brothers, Jim went back to the NFL, coaching the Bolts, doing a pretty good job, as he does. And his brother, who's a Super Bowl winner as well.
Yeah, they coached against each other in the Super Bowl when Jim was the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. John has the advantage, but I think the Harbaugh Bowl will go to John.
All right. Jim. Yeah, again, just so you don't jinx your San Diego Chargers, you greedy son of a bitch. You can pick against Justin Spears at KFMA.com. Don't forget, you could win prizes weekly by being the best picker, and just go to KFMA.com. You could sign up this week. You don't even have to be signed up for the entire season. So KFMA.com to pick against Justin Spears. Justin Spears from ESPN Radio, everybody. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
We're going to hit the reset when we come back. All right, two things. We're back here live on the stream. Two things, a quick update. What were you saying first, Maury?
Oh, we're just talking about family dynamics. And
Okay.
It's just
So
entertaining.
I just checked with Razor. I didn't sound too aggressive in the interview. So.
Oh, he listened to it.
Yeah, he's here. And then secondly, I went to go to the bathroom, and we have what was called the talent bathroom, right?
Okay.
It's a private bathroom, and then we have the public bathroom.
Oh, I didn't know there was a. I've been using the public one.
You know what?
Talent.
As you should. All right. So, and our salespeople know not to use the talent bathroom, especially during like on-air times.
Yeah.
But I go to the bathroom, doors unlock. I open the door. I see a salesman in there, pants down around his ankles, dude, fucking ass out and everything. I'm like, dude, and he's just like, oh, I thought I locked it. I'm like, what are you even doing in this bathroom, man? And yeah, you should lock. It's not locked. And he's like, shut the door. I'm like, no, I'm trying to see your dick now. That's your fault. You're the one that made me want to see your dick now. Lock the door. Like,
yeah, I don't.
So it's one of those days.
I don't understand the people that drop their pants to their to the floor.
I know too much. Rockwell 2x1 KFMA. I know way too much now about one individual and their habits, if you will. Just because I inadvertently walked in on the bathroom that was unlocked door. Let it be a lesson. Now, look, sometimes I don't lock the door because I don't care because, there's something called a zipper, right?
Yeah.
And so if anyone, walks in, they see the back of me just as if you would right now.
Yeah, no problem.
No, decent. You don't know what color my underwear is.
That's right.
Yeah. Ask me what color underwear I saw today.
I don't
Gray.
know.
It's gray.
Oh my God.
It's gray. It's gray. It's Hanes. It's boxer briefs, and I know too much.
Oh.
Okay.
Now I gotta get out of this building without trying to figure out who that is.
I'm going to introduce you to him. All right, well, anyways, we got Herb Stratford in studio about to wrap things up, but we got a couple things that are happening and dropping to your streaming services this weekend. So if you don't want to leave the house and it's not Netflix, which is the good news, then here are a couple things to check out. So what's the first thing you want to talk about here,
So
Herb?
Blitz is a movie on Apple TV. It stars Saoirse Ronan as a woman who, during the Blitz, during World War II, when the Germans were firebombing London, and her son, he gets separated. He was supposed to be going on a train to go north out of the city to be safe, which is what they did with a lot of children in London. And he sort of runs away and basically tries to get back to his mom. And this is sort of a really interesting first-person account of what it would be like to live through the Blitz in London, because he encounters all kinds of shady characters who want him to do stuff. He's just trying to get back to his mom, and, the bombs are falling, and, people are, camped out in the underground stations. It's a very good film, 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. I really, really thought this was worth, just brilliantly done. And just what a hell of a time to live. I mean, just terrifying.
This is just another success for Apple, right? Now, what was the last miss that Apple TV and Apple Plus did?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the squares and see what didn't work. But you're right. They do prestige. I mean, it's considered prestige television is what it's considered, and they spend more money and they do less product. But you can see all the dollars are on the screen. I mean, it is really amazing. It's a very good example of what they do, and they do period pieces very well. Steve McQueen, the director, he did 12 Years a Slave. I mean, he's a big deal. All the big directors want to work with Apple because they got a big budget.
Who else was famous McQueen? Because I was like, didn't he die? An old actor?
The actor, Steve McQueen.
So, same name.
Yeah.
So initially, I saw that in the credits, and I'm
you're
like,
thinking, wait, what?
Yeah, dude, did Apple just CGI Steve McQueen back into a leading role?
Different Steve McQueen. And then the other thing on dropping on Paramount Plus is Landman, and this is the Taylor Sheridan series with Billy Bob Thornton, and it's set in the oil fields of Texas, and he plays sort of a fixer. John Hamm is the billionaire owner of a lot of these oil rigs, these pump jacks, and Billy Bob has to go out and negotiate with cartel members. He has to deal with wells blowing up, and it's a very dangerous, dirty, high-paying business, right? I mean, it's really interesting. So this is a very good series. Billy Bob is great in it. Ooh. It's nice to see him, doing things again. And it's Taylor Sheridan. He does good work.
Billy Bob kind of stepped away from acting to pursue his love of music.
Yes.
And I've interviewed him a couple times for music, and it couldn't have been nicer. Honestly, so weird. He's such a strange man in a kind way, and he just pursues his passion projects, right?
Yeah.
But in this situation, Taylor Sheridan, of course, couldn't be hotter. As far as a creator.
Yeah.
casting Billy Bob in an oil man role, is it like a layup, right?
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, the writing is brilliant, and it's really interesting to see that world. It gets a little preachy on times. You know how the way, if you watch Yellowstone, there's all that sort of majesty and honesty of the work of the cowboy, right? So just imagine you're going to translate that into the oil wells. And so, we have lots of country music, teeing up things. And these guys, they're all working really hard, and I mean, it's a very dangerous job. So I think it's nice to finally sort of get a look at this, but there's some nudity in there for you, B.
You just answered the question. Did you see it in my eyes?
I did.
Because there was a woman who walked by, right?
Allie Lauder.
Allie Lauder, who was basically like the Beth role of taking Yellowstone and transplanting into here, like the hot MILF lady.
Yeah.
And she walked in with like a low plunging shirt and stuff. And then, I was just like, did they bait us with some good nudity? Because that's what they do. It's a bait and switch. It's like they start off first couple episodes, be like, here's some boobs, and then you never see them again. But at the beginning of the series, you will see her naked, that lady.
You will see Allie Lauder, and you get a little nudity from the daughter, who's also very attractive, young blonde girl.
Nice,
so
like
it's Billy Bob's ex-wife, and
real life ex-wife?
No.
Okay.
In the show. So there's a little bit of sizzle there. It can't just all be oil wells, right? It's gotta have some sex.
You got to have boobs in there for sure. Well, Herb Stratford, everybody. Let's do a couple minutes on the podcast, and then we'll wrap things up. But that's all the time we have for the FM side. Tomorrow morning, we'll continue to give away tickets for Lincoln Park. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day. Drive safe, ride safe. Rob Nash is up next. As always, rock local. Later. That's so funny that you're able to call me out on that, too. Did my eyes go like this?
Dude.
Oh, he knows you well.
Well,
I was like, oh, see her naked. You will. Okay. Well,
I'm in.
God bless you, Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Where's the scene in particular?
There's definitely some nudity in this series, which is, there really wasn't a lot in Yellowstone. There was the occasional.
Just at the beginning.
Yeah.
But see, this is like the Game of Thrones playbook that they've done, where they'll get like extra sexual and show nudity in the first couple episodes, and then never do it again. Yeah.
You're right.
Her. Good.
So I got to tell you, there's a documentary that I just watched that is really sort of a guilty pleasure. I don't know if you'll be into it or not, but it's about yacht rock.
Okay.
Okay. And what's so interesting about it's dropping on Max on the 29th. And what's so interesting about it is they go back and they sort of trace the roots of yacht rock, which really comes down to Steely Dan at the end of the day. It really, that's what it is. It's that fusion of jazz and a little bit lighter, even though it was like, peak musical. Like all the studio guys that worked on Steely Dan, they were the best, musicians available. So there's this whole thing, and then they talk to Michael McDonald, and they're talking to Christopher Cross, and you sort of go through the whole history of yacht rock, and it has a very narrow window because it pretty much is like 74, 75 to 83, and then 83 happens, and that's like your Michael Jackson, your Thriller, your MTV. All of a sudden, the music had to be about the way the performers looked.
Yeah.
Right? It's almost like when they went from silence to talkies, where everything changed. But what's so funny is that there's this whole thing about Steely Dan, and Steely Dan does not want to be classified, right? They just don't.
Yeah.
So when you get to the end of the show, I'm not going to ruin it, but there's just a really great Donald Fagen mic drop about the whole thing. That's just because they've been trying to get a hold of him, and they wanted to go on camera, and so it's really good. It's a really entertaining doc. And then for you, I just saw a trailer about a new doc, Girls Gone Wild, The Untold Story.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Joe
a good one
Francis.
for you.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
I had some friends that were literally in Girls Gone Wild videos, but, and during that time, I was of age at that time, and Joe Francis, world-class piece of shit.
Yeah.
Who recently, I think, just got, kidnapped in Mexico and everything. He's fine.
Oh, really?
He's fine, but, he keeps getting wrecked. Dude.
And they actually interview him.
Yeah, of course.
And it's the first time that he's ever been agreed to an interview.
Wow.
So yeah,
he's still kind of. I don't think he can return to the United
think he
States.
can.
Yeah, he's gonna go to
Really?
prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So watch the trailer. It looks like it's going to be a wild ride.
What's that gonna be on?
It's on. I think it's on one of the streamings. It's on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
Because Hulu always
Yeah,
does those sort of pop culture things like the Woodstock '99 and all that stuff. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff coming up.
Nice. Well, we'll wrap things up with this picture. Our boy Johnny Bananas had an X-ray on his chest, and inside him was surprising, but it's good news. It looks like Bananas still got that dog in him. So
Oh my God.
yeah, that's 100%. And those are dogs. He's still got that dog in him. So go Bananas as he makes his way to the finals. Who are you guessing is going to win the challenge this season?
I think it's between Bananas and Jordan. I always feel like that's the one too. What do you think?
It's always the case between Bananas and Jordan.
Yeah.
I can't tell you because I know because I read the spoilers.
Oh, don't tell me.
I did before the season. Months ago I've known. But I'll tell you what, even knowing the outcome, watching the season through and through and to see how things play out, couldn't have been more entertaining. So loving the challenge, and our boy Bananas still got that dog in him.
And you saw one of the former Real World people just got nominated by Trump for a cabinet position.
Yeah, Sean. He was a Real World Boston.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then,
really?
Yeah, and then here's just so any streamers who don't know this shit, just so you don't get caught up in this, bullshit like hate, which hate is appropriate, but they're like, oh, a guy who was on Road Rules, now he's the Department of Transportation. Be like, well, no, he was on Road Rules versus Real World, the challenge, and so it was more the challenge, never really Road Rules, and obviously Sean has been a
He was
Republican politician forever.
Yeah. So that's just a little that's just a note in his resume. It's not like he went straight from the show to the cabinet.
And honestly, I was more offended at the fact that so many people online were just saying he was a Road Rules cast member. I'm like, no, he wasn't, man. Get it right, dude. That was Real World Boston. We all know that.
He is the savant. You realize this?
I know.
Like he remembers characters, the cast members' names. And I'm like,
It's
I guess.
crazy.
So
No, the stuff that lives in his head rent free is nuts.
Yeah, it really is.
You're absolutely right, dude. You're absolutely right. But I'll tell you one thing on a positive note. I don't buy my followers. All right, you guys have a great day.
Thanks.